So now that we understand the importance of pre-reading for generating interest and curiosity and also getting our first basic markers that we'll be filling in with detail later, I want to take you guys really quickly just through the process of pre-reading with the Superlearner book. And the first step you want to do when you pre-read is if you have a paper book, you're just going to flip through it really quickly. If you have a digital book, you're kind of going to do the same thing. And I'm not really picking up anything in this first phase except for what are the words that repeat themselves and what's the format of the book. So obviously I'm going to realize really quickly in here that the word superlearner or superlearning repeats. The word memory, the word brain, even at this speed, you can probably see that these are words that just repeat over and over. And so those are not going to be good things to pay attention to because I'm going to get confused if I pay attention to those words since they appear over and over and over. I mean, look how many times memory is on this page. Okay, so now if we go back, and that was already all the way through to page 70, so it gives you an idea just how fast we're doing that. If we go back, let's go ahead and read the foreword of this book. And we're going to pre-read it. So, we get to the foreword. What are the first things we notice? And I just want to emphasize that this explanation is going to be about 1/100th of the speed that you're going to be doing this actual pre-reading at. Obviously, we notice foreword. We're not going to notice superlearner because that appears over and over. Now, you might be the type of person who notices numbers. I know Dr. Lev doesn't, but for me, 2008 is interesting, and I immediately start getting these WH questions. What happened in 2008? Why did it happen so long ago? I immediately go to Chicago. Okay, that's interesting. What's happening in Chicago? I think I see recession. Okay, that's interesting. What does a recession have to do with superlearning? Quality job. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder what a quality job is to this person. I even wonder who this person is. Okay, and these things are all coming into my head in real time, but I want to methodically explain them to you. So let's see, we keep going. Okay, here we have brain. We ignore that one. That's not a word that means anything here because it repeats so much. On the couch reading, I definitely see that. Neurological diseases. Okay, that's interesting. What does this person care about neurological diseases? Alzheimer's. Okay, interesting. You'll see that I'm kind of zigzagging through. Kim Peek. Okay, that's very interesting because I know who Kim Peek is. So he's already a marker for me. I have an image of him already that I'm going to connect. And I want to ask myself, what does this author have to say about Kim Peek? What does he think that he's really smart? Does he think he's not smart? Rain Man. Okay, that makes sense because Kim Peek was the character that the movie was based on. Awesome. Rudiger Gam. Ooh, I don't know who that is. Is that someone like Kim Peek? Is it the guy who researched Kim Peek? At the speed that I would be pre-reading this, I would only pick up Rudiger Gam. So who is that? Why is he in here? Ben Pridmore. That's interesting. That's another guy. Why is he in here? What does he have to do with Kim Peek? Memorizing a deck of cards comes up to me, and 24.74 seconds. Now, again, just to hit pause, the types of questions that come up to me are, what happened in 24.74 seconds? Maybe it's some feat of memory. Maybe that's how fast he can read a page of a book. Really interesting. It starts generating questions to me, and I'm going to want to come back. I already have a marker of a stopwatch right there, and I'm going to remember I want to come back, and I want to pay special attention here to figure out what happened in just 24.74 seconds. Okay, continuing. Fascinating. That doesn't tell me anything. Ordinary people. That's interesting. Okay, are we now going to compare Kim Peek to ordinary people? Or what does ordinary people have to do with these superheroes who can, do these amazing things? Okay, poor memory. That's interesting. Seems like we just changed gears. Why did we change gears? Why did we do this complete about face? Grandmother, that's interesting. You can already start to get this curiosity. And if you're not reading as I go along in the video, you're probably wondering what the heck all these words have to do with one another. Increasingly failing memory. All right, that's interesting. Now, how are we going to compare these world record holder, savants, these autistic savants as it shows in the top of the page? How are they going to be compared? All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Out of date. All right, that's interesting. Up here we go. Frustrating. Yeah, all right. What's frustrating? What was frustrating to the author? All right, superlearning we don't notice, although I do think it's interesting that superlearning is capitalized here. I wonder why it's capitalized here. All right, what else? Digestible. That's interesting. For me, it's kind of weird that the word digestible is related to memory. All right, we keep going. Grandmother passes. Pick that up immediately. Miami. Okay, that's interesting. We were in Chicago, now we're in Miami. So you can already ask yourself why. You can keep going. Winning the championship. I see championship. That's interesting. I wonder what the championship is in. I wonder what this person has to do with the championship. 2010 and 2014. Change the way I live my life. Probably you wouldn't see that whole thing. All right, so already we have some really good curiosity, and then immediately I jump to Nelson Dellis, 4-time USA memory champion. That's interesting. There's a lot of questions that I've already generated over this pre-reading, and even though I would probably do this in about 4 or 5, maybe maximum 10 seconds, you can see that we have so many questions, and we're going to read this with such an intent interest, and we even have markers. Do you guys remember what our markers are? Well, we have Chicago, we have Kim Peek, we have neurological diseases, and we can already start populating those things, those markers, with detail when we read. And the idea behind pre-reading is that you do this in large sections. So normally you wouldn't just pre-read 3 pages, you might read 10 or 20, and then you'll really have a bunch of curiosity that'll take you all the way through the chapter.